Hello students, hope you are doing great. In our today's video, we are going to learn about adding or subtracting fractions. So do watch it till the end. So first we'll be learning how to add like fractions. Say for example, we have a fraction 5 ninths and 2 ninths. Now since our denominators are same, so we take the denominator and add the numerators. So that gives us 7, 9. Let's try out another example. If we have the fraction say 13 17 and 4 17ths. So we take the denominator and add the numerators, and that will give us 17 over 17. Now you can always check if you can simplify your final answer. So always write your answer in a simplified form. So this will give us 1. Now let's see how we can add like fractions with mixed numbers. Say we have the fraction 2 and 1/5 plus 1 and 2/5. Now we group the whole numbers together and the fractional numbers together. So that will give us 2 plus 1, 3, and 1/5 plus 2/5 gives us 3/5. So our final answer would be 3 and 3/5. Now we can also add mixed numbers by converting those into improper and then simply add it. Let's check out how we can do that. So when we convert this 2 and 1/5 to improper, so that will give us 2 times 5 is 10 and 10 plus 1 is 11. So that comes out to be 11/5. Same way we can convert 1 and 2/5 to improper. So we do 5 times 1, 5 and plus 2, that is 7. So that comes out to be 7/5. Now we have the like fraction. So we have the same denominators. We just take that and add the numerators. So that would be equals to 18/5. And then we can convert that into mixed. And that is equals to 3 and 3/5. Now let's try another example. So we have a fraction 5 and 2/3 plus 3 and 1/3. So we simply group the whole parts and then the fractional parts. So this comes out to be 8, and this would be 2/3 plus 1/3 would be equals to 3/3. So that means 3/3 can also be written as 1. So that is equals to 9. Now let's see how we can add unlike fractions. Say we have the fractions 3/4 and 5/8. Now there are two ways of adding unlike fractions. The one is where we can take the LCM, and the other method is without taking the LCM. So let's first check how we can add these by taking the LCM. Now since the LCM of 4 and 8 is 8, so that means we have to multiply our first fraction by 2 and the second by 1. So that would be equals to 6/8 and 5/8. Now this is same as like fractions. So we do the same steps as we have done in the like fractions. So we take the denominator and simply add the numerators. So that would be equals to 11/8. And then we can convert that into mixed, because whenever you get your answer in improper form, always try to write your answer in a mixed form. So that would be 1 and 3/8. Now let's check how we can add without taking the LCM. So we can use the cross multiplication, or basically it's called a bow tie method. Like that. So what we do, we multiply our first fraction by the denominator of the second fraction. and the second fraction by the denominator of the first fraction. So that would be equals to 24 over 32 plus 20 over 32. Now we have the like denominators, so we take the denominator and add the numerators. So 24 plus 20 equals to 44 over 32. And then you can simplify it. So we can simplify it by dividing both numerator and denominator by 4. That would be equals to 11 over 8. And then we can simply write that in a mixed form, which is 1 and 3/8. So let's try another example. Say we have fraction 1/5 plus 3/7. So what we do, let's try to follow the cross multiplication or bow tie method. So we multiply the first fraction by the denominator of the second fraction and second fraction by the denominator of the first fraction. So that would be equals to 7 over 35 and 15 over 35. And that would be equals to 22 over 35. Now let's see how we can add mixed fractions with unlike denominators. So say if we have the fraction 3 and 1/4 and 2 and 2/3. So we will follow the same steps as we group the whole parts together and the fractional part together and add them. So 3 plus 2 equals 5. And then for 1/4 and 2/3, we do the same by using the cross multiplication method. We multiply the first fraction by the denominator of the second fraction and vice versa. So this would be times 4. So 3 over 12 and 8 over 12. So that would be equals to 5 plus 11/12, and that gives us 5 and 11/12. Now let's try out another example. So if we have a fraction 3 and 1/2 plus 2 and 2/3. So we do the same thing. We add the whole parts together and the fractional parts together. So this would be equals to 5, and here when we do the cross multiplication, we get 1 times 3 over 2 times 3 and 2 times 2 over 3 times 2. That would be equals to 3, 6 plus 4, 6, and that gives us 5 plus 7, 6. Now, if we write it in a mixed form, this would be equals to 5 and 7, 6. But as we discussed earlier, that when we write any fraction in a mixed form, it should be the whole part and the fractional part, but the fractional part must be the proper fraction. In this case, if we can see, this fractional part is not a proper fraction. So that means this cannot be our final answer, and this is not the appropriate mixed form. So what we do, we again convert that improper fraction to mixed, like 5, and then 7, 6 can be written as 1 and 1/6, which is actually same as 5 plus 1 plus 1/6, which is equals to 6 plus 1/6, and the final answer would be 6 and 1/6. Now let's learn how we subtract the fractions. Now subtracting the fractions is exactly same as adding of the fractions, but of course instead of doing addition, now we have to subtract it. Now let's take an example. Say we have the fraction 7/5 and 3/5. So since the denominators are same, so we take the denominator and subtract the numerators. So that gives us 4 over 5. Now let's try another example. So if we have the fractions 1114 minus 114. So we take the denominator 14 and then subtract the numerators. So that would be equals to 1014. And then we can simplify it. We always check, as I've mentioned before, that if we can simplify the fraction, always write your answer in a simplified form. So that would be equals to, we can divide it by 2. So that gives us 5/7. Now let's see how we add mixed numbers with unlike denominators. Say if we have the fraction 5 and 3/5 and 2 and 1/4. So we do the same steps as we have done in adding of mixed fractions. So we group the whole parts together and the fractional parts together. So 5 minus 2 equals 3. And then for 3/5 minus 1/4, we do the same by cross multiplying. So we multiply this by 4 and this by 5. So that would be equals to 12/20 minus 5/20. So 3 plus 12 minus 5 gives us 7. So this would be equals to 7/20. And our final answer would be 3 and 7/20. Now we can also subtract these by converting these mixed fractions to improper. So let me also show you that. So for 5 and 3/5, we get 5 and 5. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 3 is 28. So that would be equals to 28/5. And then 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So that would be equals to 9/4. Now we cross multiply and make the denominator same. So multiply the first fraction by 4 and the second by 5. So 28 times 4 equals 112. So this would be equals to 112/20 minus 9 times 5, 45/20. So take the 20 and then 112 minus 45, and that is equals to 67/20. And then we convert that into mixed fractions. So that would be equals to 3 and 7/20. Now let's try another example. So we have the fraction 7 and 1/6 minus 2 and 2/5. So we combine the whole parts and the fractional parts together. So 7 minus 2 equals 5. And then to solve 1/6 minus 2/5, we multiply the first fraction by 5 and the second by 6. So that would be equals to 5/30 minus 12/30, which will be equals to negative 7/30. Now in this one, as you can see, our fractional part is negative. So to make it a positive, what we do, we again convert that into improper fraction. So we do 30 times 5, which is 150, and minus 7, and that would be equals to 143/30. So we can write this as in a mixed form. That would be equals to 4 and 23/30. So here I'm posting some problems for you. You can try out all these problems, and if you want, you can share your answers in the comment box. So this is all for today's video. See you in the next video. Till then, keep learning, keep practicing, and be safe.